let's review once more the concept of simplifying expressions, or combining like terms. So I have this expression, 4x plus 8 plus 3x plus 7. By combining like terms, I mean things that are alike. So I have this variable here, 4x, or 4, what's that called? What's the number in front of our variable? Coefficient. 4x, I want to add the coefficients together. So 4x and 3x, 4 plus 3 is 7x. And then I have this number here with no variable, and that's called a constant. So I got to add my constants together. 8 and 7 give me 15. So my answer is 7x plus 15. Now for this one, I asked you, can I add the 5x squared and the 5x together since they're the same variable? The answer is no. They are the same variable, but they are not like terms. If I take x and x squared, and I plug in, let's say, the number 4, I get 4 here. And what's 4 squared? 16. Are those the same number?
No.
They're not. So here's proof that these are different numbers. They're not like terms. So when I'm talking about combining like terms, I have to look for another x squared. So I have a negative 5x squared and a negative 2x squared. Take this on the next slide. Yep. So I'll do it here. Negative 5x squared and negative 2x squared gives me a negative 7x squared. Now let me look at my x's. 5x, a negative 8x, and a negative x. What number is in front of this x? 1. So when I add, I got to go 5 minus 8, that's negative 3, minus 1, negative 4x. And then my constants, 11, and negative 15. Adds up to negative 4. So again, please don't add the squares and the x's or the cubes together. Same variable, but they're actually different terms. What happens here? What kind of operation do you perform?
Distribution.
Distributing, or giving it the D. Yes. So distribute 4. Huh? What? So 4 times x, which means I have to multiply this 4 by each term inside.
4x
So
plus 12.
4x plus 4 times 3, 12. Thank you. So distributive property. Now let's distribute this. We got a couple of options here. I see a 2x.
2x squared.
Multiplying 2x by x gives me 2x squared.
Minus 4. Or not. Actually.
And then
Minus
2x negative 2 minus 4x. Let me take a side note real quick. Please pay very close attention whether or not you're adding variables or multiplying variables. Because what's 2x plus x?
2x squared. Oh wait, no.
3x.
Yes, 3x. And what's 2x times x?
2x squared.
2x squared. So pay close attention whether or not you're adding or multiplying. You see how it can easily get mixed up. All right, let me erase this real quick. All right, how many terms am I going to have to multiply this 5x to?
2.
Just 2? 3. Because I have 5x times 4x times x and times negative 1. That's how the distributive property works. You got to multiply by every term inside the parentheses.
20x squared
So 5x times 4x is 20x squared.
plus
Plus 5x times x,
5x squared.
5x squared.
Minus 5x.
5x minus 1 minus 5x. Am I done?
No.
What's next?
Just combine like
Combine like terms. So do I have another x squared?
Yeah, you get 2.
I got 2 of them. I got 20x squared, which gives me 22x squared. Do I have another x?
Yeah, plus x squared.
Oh, wait, I missed one. Uh-oh. Let me go back. Watch out, I had another x squared. 27x squared. Erase that. 27 x squared. Turns out I had just two x's, so negative 4x and a negative 5x
Minus 9x.
minus 9x. Yes, make sure you keep your ducks in a row. Make sure you keep your variable straight, your terms right. Try not to miss any. That's why I like to do this, underline or cross out. That way if you run into one that's left over, you're like, oh, I missed it. This could be a trick question when we add more things to it, but for now it's pretty straightforward. Do you distribute this 2 or this negative 2?
The negative.
Negative 2. So that's negative 2 times 2x, which is negative 4x. And negative 2 times negative 1, which is? 2 negatives makes a positive 2. Now I asked you, this is the same problem, but I just added a 4x in front. What about that 5? Do you distribute the 5 or the negative 5? Top 3 of most common mistake in algebra right here.
Negative 5, right?
The negative 5. Remember I said yesterday, there is no such thing as subtraction. This is really a 4x plus a negative 5. If I've written the problem like this, you would know what to do, right? Distribute the negative 5. But like I said, mathematicians are lazy. Why add this plus when I could just make it a subtraction? These two are the exact same. This is the exact same expression. They're just written differently. So when you distribute, be mindful if it has a negative that you bring it with it. So negative 5 times x, which is?
5x. Minus 15.
Minus 5x. And negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. What happens is you treat that as a subtraction and you go 4x minus 5x plus 15. They distribute just the 5, and that's a big no-no. And I'll try to bring that up as much as possible so you don't make that common mistake. And then of course we have to combine like terms. Negative x minus 15. Watch out for that. Now let's go over simplifying fractions. The other F word in math, other than factoring. Can I add these two fractions the way they are right now?
No.
What do they need?
Same denominator.
Same denominator. So if I had 1/2 plus 3/2, it equals 4/2, right? Denominator stays the same, you just add the numerator.
Oh.
So what I have to get here? They need the same denominator. What number? 2? 4? Least common denominator. 2 can go into 4, but 4 can't go into 2. So let's look at 4. 4, I didn't change anything, so I'm keeping this the same. A plus 3 fourths. But this 2, how do I get from 2 to 4?
Multiply by 2. Right?
Multiply by 2.
The 1 goes to 2.
And if I multiply the denominator by 2, I have to multiply the numerator. So the top becomes 2 times 1, which is 2. Now I can add them together, and I get 5/4. A side note, does 8 work as a common denominator?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not the least, but 8 works. So let's look at that. 8, 8. 4 times what is 8? 2. So what goes here? 6. 2 times what is 8? 4. So what goes here? 4. Which equals 10/8. Now, if you didn't use the least common denominator, we did here, so this is already simplified, you would have an extra step of simplifying this. Luckily, the calculator is very good at simplifying fractions. You would just type in the fraction and go math, fraction, 5/2. Calculator can simplify fractions if simplifying fractions isn't one of your strongest suits. So how do you simplify 1/20 over 86? Well, I don't know. But I do know the calculator knows, and that's 60/43. So there's a neat trick for the calculator if you ever run into needing to simplify a fraction. One more. Without using a calculator, let's see if we can add these fractions together. What would be my common denominator? Again, doesn't have to be the least, but a common denominator that all three of these numbers go into.
30.
30, okay. 3 goes into 30 and 5 and 2, that looks like a good number. Not sure if it's the least, but we'll find out. So, how many times does 2 go into 30?
15.
So what goes here?
15.
15. 2 times 15, 1 times 15. How many times does 5?
6.
6. So what goes here?
6. 12.
12. How to multiply by 6? Got to multiply by 6.
10.
10. So what goes here?
10.
10. All right. Which equals?
90. Oh, down there it says same.
Well, let's just worry about the top. What's
37.
37. And the bottom? 30. Denominator doesn't change. All right, let's go to our calculator, 37 30th, and see how it simplifies. Oh, good. It's already simplified. So 30 was, in fact, the least common denominator.